I'm Peter.
I'm Gavin.
And I'm Gareth.
We are in the basement. Today we are talking about all the intelligent things we've done with things with motors.
Oof. Motors have never been my strong suit.
I have had more than one car. I have ended friendships over cars.
I'm on car number 3.
I like things with motors, though.
I actually have to think about what car I'm on.
Ooh, that's pretty bad.
I do too, because I think I had 4 before I was out of high school.
Because there was the van.
I feel like if you had a van now, it would be pretty tricked out.
There was the Intrepid.
You had an Intrepid?
I had a Focus with a suicide hatch.
Oh.
I had the Stable, a Grand Am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And the Focus that I have now. And by far, the Grand Am was the worst turd I ever owned.
Yeah, Tim
Well,
told me about the Grand Am before.
Let's talk. Have you ever been in a vehicle accident? Like a car? You have.
I've been in 3.
Okay.
I've been in 3 accidents.
So
How many have you been in?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Ooh.
At least 4 that I can think
Any
about.
hospital-worthy crashes?
No.
No.
But I don't like going.
Wait,
crashes that you should have gone to the
2
hospital.
Wait,
of them
no.
I should have gone
I've been
to
in
the hospital.
5 accidents because I was in 2 in the Focus that I'm still driving now. That looks like it's brand new, pulled off the lot. I was in 2 accidents in that. And one of them I did have to go to the hospital for.
So, my one that I probably should have went for wasn't even my car. So my buddy...
I've been there.
When I was...
I've been there, he says.
I bet you I was probably 16 or
That's
so.
always the best time to get in an accident.
And we were going out in New Lancaster Valley to put up tree stands, and this guy comes flying by me in this Ford Explorer. Now, I'm in an 04 Chevy 1500 that's got, like, true duals the whole way back, like, chipped, nice truck. And of course, the guy that owns it looks at me, and he's like, well, what are you waiting on? Don't let him do that. So I freaking vlog on it, right? Well, about half a mile up the road, the guy whips into the left lane, turns on his right turn signal, and I'm like right behind him at this point. And I didn't know whether to like slam on the brakes or just hit the gas and go by him. I chose to hit the gas. And he came right back across in front of me to make his right turn. Clipped his right rear quarter panel. Boom! Airbags deployed. Freaking truck went flying off the side of the road. He spun clean around. You guys know where the firehouse is out in the Lancaster Valley
Yeah,
Road?
my friend's girl he's seeing lives right next to it.
So, it spun that Explorer around like 2 times and set the rear bumper right up on the poles on the front porch of it. Yeah, it was ugly, man. I got out, I didn't know where I was, what happened, like, literally collapsed to the ground, because it was like, that's how bad my adrenaline was pumping. Actually, believe it or not, most of my wrecks happened in New Lancaster Valley.
So, I had something similar. I was in a friend's vehicle. It was a 95 Dodge Intrepid, and we all know how the brakes are on those things. So, first off, anybody doing anything stupid in a Dodge Intrepid to begin with is a death wish.
Yeah.
So I had this girl, Stephanie, and her boyfriend, who was my friend, his name was Turtle. They were in the back seat.
Turtle?
Yes, Turtle. Making out. Making out. And I hope that's all they were doing at this point, because that part of this whole thing is foggy. So we were going down the main road towards the Brooklyn Fairgrounds. And then just after the old schoolhouse, you can hang a right, and then there's this S-turn that goes down a hill. And then it cuts over into the other side of Brooklyn, and then you can go back up into Danielson. This is all in Connecticut. Our story takes place in this downhill S. So I'm going faster than I should be.
Please tell me you ripped that e-brake.
So I go around the first turn, and the back end comes out a little bit, so I tap the brake. The brakes are gone. So I come down the other hill, and I'm stomping on the invisible brake. And then as I'm coming down the hill to hit the other S, the brake finally kicks in. Only on the rear. So
Tokyo Drift.
So I'm literally drifting with the back end in dirt and it's a front-wheel drive vehicle, and then the brakes give out again, and I slingshot forward into a stone wall about this high and literally flipped the car completely over and land back on the wheels. Bottomed everything out. Car was gone.
Jump.
Like,
Well, they're junk to begin with, so.
yeah, it was. So she ended up going. Her dad took her to the hospital because, again, I don't know what they were doing in the back seat, but yeah, that was my friend's car.
Wow.
Yeah,
Alright.
and me and him are no longer friends. Anyway, it actually had nothing to do with the car. It had to do with a girl, but that's a story for another day.
Alright. So my first accident, you know Cooper's Gap.
Oh my.
Cooper's
Like the back
Gap
of my hand.
is like the road going up to one of our many state parks in the area. And I decided, oh hey, my Dodge Dakota with bald tires should go up this. And it was January. There was a foot of snow on the road. I had bald tires, and I said, nah, I ain't need chains. So I put it into a ditch doing about 45
Driving on snow. at
with
45
way
all
too
time.
many people. I had 5 people in my back seat. I didn't have like a center seat, but I had like a little plastic console I got at Walmart. So I had someone sitting on that, and then I had someone sitting in the obviously the driver's seat, and I had someone in the passenger seat.
So you were rocking safety.
Oh yeah, no
Big
seat
show,
belts all
Bree.
around.
We're talking about snow, okay? This is also the story of how I came to Pennsylvania, if you guys did not already know this. So I was working for a graphic design. I was working as a graphic designer in a car shop up in Connecticut. I went to work, and I was told, I no longer need you. The holiday season's done. I was there for 3 months. And I said, I didn't know this was a seasonal job. And he said, this is me telling you this is a seasonal job. So I had quit a full-time job to go work there. Fine. It gave me experience as a graphic designer, which is what I loved. I'm upset on my way home. There's gas stations right on the road in Connecticut. Like, you just pull off, there's the gas station. You can fill up, convenience, then you just pull off and drive off. So I look down, I'm like, I gotta get gas because money's gonna be tight. So I pulled off onto this gas station and was gonna fill up. Except the entire drive thing up until the pumps was ice. And there was this guy leaning up against the back of his car. So my car is skidding towards this guy leaning against the back of his car. This is a true story. So you're either going to continue pounding on the brakes, which is not working, and you're going to crush this guy between his rear bumper and your front bumper. Or you're going to cut the wheel and hit the accelerator and pull away, right? So I did that. I cut the wheel, pumped the accelerator, and drove straight into the concrete gumdrop at the end of the pumps. Sent the concrete gumdrop into the highway. It wasn't on the road of the highway. It was on the off the curve, the shoulder of the highway. So this went through an entire lane for the gas pumps, through the grass median, and landed on the
Other side.
shoulder of the highway. Okay? My car bumped over a little bit and then went sideways. I popped a tire, my airbag deployed, and I got a big scratch dent on my front bumper. Cut off the airbag, put on a spare tire, gave them my insurance information, and drove home.
Did you fill up?
I did not.
You forgot the whole purpose.
That would have been
At
icing
that-
on the cake.
At that point,
Charge it to my insurance.
you leave at that point. But to tie it in, the reason I came to Pennsylvania is because when I got home to my apartment that day, the person I was living with, because I was paying rent, I had a room in the apartment, and her name was on the lease. She said, hey, I did not re-sign the lease. You need to find a new place to live.
You were having a great day.
It was a really bad day.
Wow, I would say.
But
Speaking of snow,
that's what brought me to Pennsylvania.
Speaking of snow, I really wanted a Jeep
Sorry to hear that.
when I
Yeah.
was again, 16. So, I know a lot of people frown upon mommy and daddy buying you things, but I worked really hard. I was working since I was 13 years old. I mean, I had money saved and stuff, but I really, really wanted a Jeep. So, my mom was searching high and low for a nice Jeep for me, and they found this awesome one, like, mint condition, like, it was beautiful. Lifted, big tires and everything I wanted.
That was just screaming mom and dad paid for this, wasn't it?
Yeah. So they bought me my first Jeep. They did. And it was about 2 weeks later, I was like, I haven't really used this thing yet. My buddies were like, let's go on a mountain ride, let's go on a mountain ride. Okay, I'm all good with that. Well, sure enough, it had snowed like a day or two before, and we got to New Lancaster Valley, and my parents told me before I left, they're like, you should not be driving on the snow with those big tires, because they're like skis. I was like, meh, it's a Jeep, it'll be alright.
It'll send.
Yeah, how'd that work?
So we're literally driving out this mountain road, and it's all nice and flat for a while, and then all of a sudden, like, the hollows start cutting in. And, like, you know what a hollow looks like when you're halfway up the mountain. It's cut in, and it is straight down. So I'm driving behind my buddy, and all of a sudden I feel it get out of the rut and start going, the back end starts coming this way. So I corrected some and, tapped the gas, and it came back around too far. And I cut this way, and it did not want to turn. And I was like, uh-oh. Sure enough, it was possibly the slowest thing that ever happened to me in my entire life, because I had the wheel cut and I was trying to stop, and it just slowly got to the edge and my bumper hit a tree and it just went whoop, freaking barrel rolled down the side of this mountain like 6 times, lands on its wheels. I didn't have a seatbelt on. The only thing that kept me in my seat was the steering wheel, and I had a tow hitch behind me in the back floorboard. And when we hit, that thing came down and smashed my console and landed on my lap. In pieces. I roll out of my Jeep, one of my shoes fell off. I didn't know what the heck even happened. But I got back in that thing and drove it right back up out.
6 barrel rolls, that explains so much.
Honestly, I don't know how you didn't have the nickname Guppy, like how... If you wouldn't have had the nickname Guppy before that, you would have had it after that.
Oh, it was gupped up, that's for sure.
I have been in multiple accidents. Only a couple of them were funny, but the one that happened most recently was in my Ford Focus that I have now. And I was stopped at an intersection with my turn signal on to turn left. We had just proceeded forward from another intersection that was to turn right. The person in front of me turned right. I went forward 30, 40 feet with my turn signal on the entire time, came to a complete stop to turn left. Oncoming traffic, I get slammed from behind. I get shot forward another 30, 40 feet. A Ford Explorer had hit me. A 2015 Ford Explorer, which is newer than my Focus. Shot me forward. The guy gets out and says, I didn't see you there. We got the insurance information from him. He was an eye doctor.
That's ironic.
Ironic, I would say.
Yeah, it's about as good as it gets right there for puns.
It was awful. That happened last year. Yeah.
I hope it wasn't my eye doctor. It's pretty cool.
He was an old man, that's all I know.
Still could be my eye doctor.
Well, lots of accidents. That's for sure.
I still haven't done anything brutal to my car.
Yeah, but driving your cars is brutal. I've seen what you drive.
But
That rust, though.
you leave the rust alone. It adds character.
On that, we're going to ask that you guys share our video and give us any suggestions that you have for us to talk about in our next In the Basement. And also, we have a surprise planned. One of these weeks in October, we are going to post an In the Basement every day for 1 week.
That's a surprise to me, too.
Look forward to that.
Stupid cars.
We
Stupid
could-
things we've done on motorized vehicles.
We could definitely do cars of the past.
I mean, I'm
You
only...
want to do cars of the past?
Like what?
Have you ever crashed, hit a car, or...
Oh man.
You have crashed. Anything from we'll do
Multiple
anything with a motor.
Okay.
I've crashed a good bit of stuff.